Welcome, everybody, to Cup with GUP on this beautiful Wednesday, August 4th, 2021. We have some final thoughts on this week's PGA event, the WGC St. Jude no-cut event, and I will go through my favorite rookies for a round one Dynasty draft. Had that kind of tossed out in the GC Warrior Room Slack the other day, so I kind of penciled through my top 12 rookies. If your league happens to do some type of Dynasty rookie draft or rookie draft only, to wrap up the pod today. Starting this week, if you missed any of the other pods, you can use the code NFL to get 25% off any package. I would try the full site because you get to all of our tools, our brand new NFL tools that will debut here in a couple weeks, if not sooner. Our upgraded and enhanced lineup optimizer, the Green Machine, which we will have live for the Captain Showdown mode tomorrow night in the NFL Hall of Fame game, Cowboys-Steelers. So looking forward to that. Our Green Machine will be capable of stacking NFL, college football, obviously golf already, everything we have. It's going to be loaded by the time we get to NFL season, and it still takes care of all the other sports as well. All that includes a free 7-day no-risk trial. Put your information in. If you don't like it in 7 days, you cancel. You never pay $1. So no risk, but high reward if you want to come check us out. Listener League is getting close to full, but I'll put it in the audio podcast here if you want to jump in. 3 max, $500 the first, limited rake, flat payouts. Top 3 get GC swag if you reach out to me after you win. Rate and review us on iTunes. I will be doing huge giveaways for NFL kickoff week. And one of the ways you get a automatic rate and review or automatic entry for free is rate and review us on iTunes. So I will pull one prize will be specifically from only people that have rate and review us on iTunes. If you can't remember, if it's been for a while, I keep a running total of it up to a year, but go ahead and do it again. It doesn't hurt. Doesn't take long. Takes 15 seconds or so to get you right back in it for giveaway week for NFL kickoff. That 25% off that I mentioned earlier, that is through Monday Night Football of week 1. So we're going to have that 25% off all the way till Monday Night Football. September 14th is Tuesday. That promo goes away, and our pricing will increase for only the second time ever as we obviously put a lot of research and development into our tools and platform, new site and all that. But we want to give everybody a loyal chance to come join us now at the rates there. If you are a current member and want to finally upgrade to the tools, now is your time to do it. Reach out to me. I will get you your loyalty code, and you can upgrade before then. And we'll be doing big giveaways. I'll announce the prizes next week, or start to announce them, some of the things I'm going to give away. And it'll be anybody that's signed up in between August 1st and September 13th or upgraded in that same time frame as well. Our YouTube comment winner is Cameron Thompson this week. Reach out to me in Slack or Twitter, and I will get you your GC Swag Combo credit. I will do more giveaways each and every week as we continue on. And this pod will now go daily, so always jump in on Thursday and Friday as well to see what I'm going to have going on. More of those talk will be around. So tomorrow's will be our first Thursday Cup with GUP. And I'll hit on ownership review after it locks tomorrow morning, kind of talk about where I went wrong, right, and different. I do a full write-up on the website, but I'll hit on some of that stuff for PGA, and then we'll talk some NFL, maybe some college football stuff as well. PGA updated thoughts on the week. It's going to be a great week, perfect weather, limited field event. Should be a great one. 47 of the top 50 in the world here. Tiger, Rahm, and Bezadenhout are the only 3 not here. 66 guys, so anything can happen in this leaderboard. Just kind of, if you played the Olympics or you've played these LFE events before, you know that they're going to flip-flop. That leaderboard can go crazy. Scoring is going to matter. I really think it's comes down to kind of 2 things. One, where do you want to fade or be super light to get your edge on the field? And then your construction part. What kind of stacking rules are you doing? Who do you want stacked together because you think they may potentially be similar or not similar, or maybe you want to play, I talked about this last week, especially on E9, maybe you want to play some chalk. Well, that's fine in this type of event. Everybody's going to garnish some kind of ownership with only 66 guys. Leaving some money on the table always makes you different in that sense. But, you can create rules, especially in the green machine, that says, okay, in any lineup with Brooks, I may only want, one of these other guys there. So maybe it eliminates chalkiness of having Brooks, English in the same lineup. You can create a rule with it at most one of these two. That way, if you like both of them, at least you're not getting them in the same lineup. Or you want both of them, but then the rest of the lineup you do some different. You can get creative with all that. So this is a week to kind of do that because you got to differentiate yourself some way. Moving up for me, I mentioned some of this yesterday, but Cantley has definitely moved up quite a bit, which probably means don't play him because anytime I get on him and go up on him, he does not do well. And then when I don't play him, he wins or top 3 or something like that. I think he's going to be mid-range owned, nothing crazy. Not going to be one of the top, but not going to be under 10% or anything. At his price, I think he's a good pivot off of Berger, although I like Berger. He is a good pivot right there for $100 more if you're wanting to get off of that. I'm not undecided kind of where I'm going up there yet. I talked about that in my article last night and today, but I'm getting closer to kind of where I think I want to handle up top. I'm going to be different, kind of, I think, down under 9K this week and try to be different there is kind of, I think, my strategy. These guys, this is a big boy course. They always seem to show up. I think I want to get as many of those pieces as possible in my puzzle. And then I'm okay if I got to fade a potentially not full strength Webb, a super chalky English, maybe he finally doesn't finish second Usti. Those guys I'm okay getting off of if it allows me to go in my mind, Brooks, DJ Berger, Morikawa, Schauffele, more of those type players and these other not as great of a ceiling type to me. I could be way wrong, and those guys are top 3 come, Sunday and, egg on my face type of deal. But that's kind of where I'm thinking this week. The Hovland is second. I think he's going under the radar. I could see him creeping closer to 10% than 15%. Probably that 12, 13% mark is where he should land. I've always just kind of thought of him at, I don't want to say mini Rory because that's pretty high level, but hits the ball so great, hits a lot of fairways, and I think that could really do well for him. Reviewed his rounds from last year. I think he'll do fine this week, and I don't have to get super crazy on him to get some leverage. And then Matsu. I think Matsu's a great play this week. He's probably going to be 7-8%. I may have 12. I'm 1.5x over the field and move on there at 9,400. I don't mind that play at all. Potential fades move down the board for me. Spieth, Usti, and English are kind of the 3 that I'm thinking. I talk about this on E9, how I try to take a chunk of someone or 2 or 3 that just if I remove or go super light on those 2 or 3 guys, and this is almost any given week, plus have my min-max set up, I can pretty much build how I want from there. And those 3 are the ones that I'm kind of, I knew English would be popular and deservingly so, but I may just, pray that he doesn't go off this week. This is one of the things I'm on. Usti, man, he's burned me so much lately, and it's tough. I get it. I'm not full in on the fade there. I'm more in on fading Spieth and English and going light on Usti. But those are the 3 that I've moved down in the ranking so far. Like some other spots better. Some kind of names that pop to me that maybe won't be high. None of these guys are going to be more than 5%, but different little nicks and knacks that I picked up over the last 24, 36 hours. Minwoo Lee, I like him. I've liked him earlier in the week. He's kind of moved up and up a little bit. I'll definitely have some shares there. Jim Herman, always a fan of his. Love his, kind of his Twitter strategy on this PIP deal. It's been funny to watch. At min price 6,000, I mentioned it the other day. I think he's definitely worth, some sprinkles. And then Lefty, he was a guy I wasn't really on Monday. Continues to climb up. He's not really necessarily a core piece, but I'll have plenty of ownership there in this type of event. And I really do think he's still trying to, I don't know if he can earn his way in the Ryder Cup or anything like that, but I think he wants to have a good presence and a good August for that if he can potentially make his way onto that team. Leverage plays of the week. There's 2 that just stick out like a sore thumb. One, I currently have no desire to play, and the other one I like a lot. And the first one is Reed. I'll be playing him. He's going to be at most 6-7%, I think. Probably closer to 5. I like him this week. I'll have plenty. I'll let it roll. And the other is Bryson, and I just can't talk myself into it. If he goes out there and top 5, top 10s this week, probably top 5 really to beat me, then so be it. I'll eat that and move on. All right, that kind of wraps up the golf deal. I'll have my final thoughts posted for the premium members here in just shortly. Then probably at E9, I'll kind of take the pulse of Slack, see how that's going, and then we'll head into the evening with lineup construction. I'll be around Slack and all that kind of stuff. Round 1 rookie draft. So the way I approach this, and I know there's a million different leagues and ways you can do this. If you're a premium member and you want a specific question, just DM me on Slack or Twitter or something, and I'll answer it. My league, personally, this is our 25th anniversary of running it. It's a pretty, I guess you would call it hardcore league. I mean, auction. We have franchise players. We have we all are Auction Valley salary based. We have expiring contracts. We have a rookie draft every year. It's a slotted salary, so a percentage of what our other players are, the number 1 pick in the rookie draft, which we go opposite of finishing order the prior year. That player, so the worst guy in the league, he gets number 1 pick, and that player, kind of like the NFL is now, we kind of model ours as close to NFL as you can. Whoever he picks, it costs us much, and he has to make the pick or trade it, type of deal. So, and that goes against the salary cap for the year. So, but some are simple. It's just we have a Dynasty league and everybody gets 1 rookie before the main one. Some people don't have any rookie stuff, so basically here's my rankings, and I'm doing it more so on a Dynasty rookie draft, just straight picks, no salary involved or anything like that. For me, number 1 is pretty simple. Harris for Pittsburgh. We know their MO. For all intents and purposes, they want him to be what Le'Veon Bell was, in that 3 or 4 year stretch. But I think he has potentially better upside, especially running the ball. Maybe we'll see the catching part, but I think he is a sneaky pass catcher. But I just think that's where you go if you have the number 1 pick of the rookie draft. 2 for me, 2 and 3, 2 through 5 are kind of interchangeable to an extent, depending on your league, your settings, and all that. But I would go Pitts, because I think Pitts has the ability. If the asterisk here is if your league requires you to start a tight end by itself. Some have gone away from that, and it's, hey, you start 3 wide receiver / tight ends, and being that there's such a discrepancy between the top tight end and the 10th, 11th, 12th. Mine currently, it's still you have to put a starting tight end in each week. If you're in that type of league, which most are, I think Pitts would be worth the number 2 pick, because I think his upside is going to be up there with a Kelsey, with a Kettle type deal, Waller, long term. So that's where I would be there, because you only start 1 tight end in most cases. That's why I have him slightly above Jamar Chase, but I think Jamar Chase is going to be amazing. Loved him in college. I know my boy Adon is big on him. Him and I go back and forth on a lot of college things, as well as Berger. 2 great minds there in the college football world. Both of them are probably 2 of the only ones I've met that watch as much or more in cases college football than myself. So I respect their opinions. I know he's high on Chase. And the only knack is, is the ball going to get spread around enough for him? You're still the Cincinnati Bengals, but you got mixing other guys. But don't forget the QB wide receiver. They played together in 2019 there. So, I mean, Chase with Burrow, I think that combo is going to be somewhat magical, and he's real deal. So, and they'll find a way to get in the ball. Kind of, similar to a Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb type year could happen to him for sure. Jefferson was obviously better than Lamb last year, but I think Lamb's long-term just as good. Travis Etienne for the Jaguars is number 4 for me. Just slightly over number 5, which is also Jaguar, Trevor Lawrence. Only because typically quarterbacks just, are not held as high in that situation. Really depends on your league, and does getting a rookie quarterback help you a lot? In our league, if you're picking 5th, 6th, 7th, it may cost you, let's just make up, like $3 or $4. Well, if you hit, so we have guys that I have Dak, for an instance, that I think I got his rookie year. Well, year 2, 3, and 4, I'm ahead of the game on the salary cap and like I said. So if you have a guy, a Kyler Murray type, Patrick Mahomes, those kind of guys that you can pick up really cheap, that maybe, it's hard to predict that, but if you do, I think even if it doesn't, as cheap as these guys can come in here, if you're in a no salary situation, which is kind of what I'm talking about, I think it's worth a pick, and then have your draft and see where you sit. A lot of guys only draft one quarterback overall, but if I'm going to rank 12, Lawrence goes 5th for me, with Etienne going 4th. Number 6 is Trey Lance to me. I think if he's not starting week 1, I think everything we've seen so far indicates he'll be on the field sooner than later. High rushing upside. You could try to stash him depending on how your league works. Maybe you have a good quarterback already that in a keeper league, if you have that, and you could stash Lance kind of like a Hurts last year. I had Hurts. I think I picked him up mid-season or so for basically nothing. He starts. The rushing upside there just gives you so much at the quarterback position. So I think Lance, and I think Lawrence for that. The reason why I have Lawrence just slightly ahead of Lance is Lawrence does run. I don't know how much Urban will have him run, but because I think he's in a little bit better situation because he's starting from day one. If we found out tomorrow that Lance is now our day one starting quarterback, I'd probably move Lance just slightly above Lawrence for the rushing upside there. 7 for me is Javonte Williams for the Broncos. The Broncos traditionally have been able to run the football pretty good. A little bit waiting to see what happens in that backfield. I think he winds up being the workhorse by the end of the year. Loved watching him in college. I think he's, a dynamic running back. The biggest question there is the reason why I have him down below these quarterbacks is it going to be Bridgewater or who's going to start? If they get a stable quarterback where they can run the football and the defense isn't stacking the box, then I think that, is advantageous for a Javonte Williams, and that helps him. So I have him there. Next is Waddle for me. I think he's just a special talent. I do love him. I loved him in college. I think Tua is going to be better than what people have him at overall. I think a lot of people have given up on him. I haven't. I think the Dolphins could be more competitive than what others do, and I think Waddle will be a guy that Tua looks for. They already have chemistry there, similar to Burrow and Chase. 9 for me is Devontae Smith. Had him higher, but we've already seen a little injury bug. Not putting too much into that. That kind of stuff happens in preseason. And maybe he's fallen a little bit in some ADP type stuff with this one little injury. I wouldn't put that much into it. He's good. I mean, and Jalen and him played together at Bama as well. So I do like him. I'd have him 9. 10, I go Michael Carter for the Jets. That's just going to be I think it's a high risk, high reward situation. Zach Wilson, I don't have in my top 12, but I keep your eyes on him because he could wind up coming out and being a good fantasy or could be a good DFS play at times. I actually kind of like him week 1 with this price, but I think Carter could develop. The better Wilson does and can keep the defense honest, the better Carter has a chance to succeed. So that's kind of I correlate those two together. We'll see how that shakes out. Number 11, Fields for me for the 49ers. Not 49ers, the Bears. I really like this kid a lot. I mean, people that follow me, I loved him in college. He won me plenty of money in DFS. He won me money betting, especially in the semifinals, national championship game. I love everything about him. I think he was a steal of the draft for the Bears. I just hope they don't mess it up with him. Chicago tends to do that at times. He's a wait and see. There's just that part of it that I pause a little bit. His talent, I don't. I think he's just as talented as any other quarterback in rookie quarterback this year. And I think he could have a higher ceiling by the end of the year. Certainly a guy I'll be looking to stash away if I have a pretty strong starting. So my starting quarterback right now in my keeper league is Dak. One of these guys maybe, and I'm never going to keep more than 2 quarterbacks. We have a pretty tight roster restriction, but even if I don't, I may not even have a backup quarterback to start. Now with Dak, it's a little bit different. He's got his own injury concerns, but at the end of the season last year, I ended up with Dak and Hurts. So, I basically streamed a quarterback until Hurts kind of popped in. I had him. He finished out the season pretty decent. So Fields, I can see that. Maybe you don't pick him up now, but if you're in a rookie draft and you must pick in that, I don't hate him there. Stash him away, see what he does, especially if you have a strong quarterback already. Or if you do draft him and you guys don't have a keeper league, then in your real draft, okay, I need to get a strong, solid quarterback that I can depend upon to see how Fields progresses throughout the season. Last for me, maybe a little bit outside of what most people wore, and most people are, and it's Rondale Moore for Cardinals. I think he could be as good or better than any wide receiver in the draft, and because of a situation. I mean, if Kyler and him really kick it off, Kyler's going to be able to get things open. DeAndre Hopkins is going to garnish coverage that he's a special talent. And I think some of the experts in that college football industry would say the same. And I think it fell to him just absolutely great situation for him with the quarterback coach combo there. Obviously, I'm a big Kyler guy. I like him a lot in his upside. So I would take, if you could sneak a Moore in that late, 10, 11, 12, depending on how you kind of get those, he's a guy I would go look for in an early rookie draft. Or if you don't do rookie drafts, keep your eye on him to kind of steal him mid-late in your regular drafts this season. I appreciate it. I hope you guys are enjoying these pods. I will see you tomorrow. Have a blessed day, and talk to you later.